Mike, largely, do you expect your starters to play in this one or to not play?
Well, we'll handle the play time today. We're actually going to get this last practice in. I really like what we accomplished yesterday. I thought we took a step forward as a football team. There was some really good football yesterday, so we'll primarily focus on the things that we highlighted in yesterday's practice. Very similar to practice today, and frankly, we'll do the play time with the players in the afternoon meetings today.
Mike, do you have a plan at quarterback for Thursday night?
Just to reiterate what I just said, we'll do the play time with the team today, but we definitely will focus on those two young guys.
Mike, why did you take a step forward? Where do you feel like you
I just thought the football, specifically more of the situational stuff. We were working the pressure packages. Having Jalen out there was great. You definitely felt him. But just I don't know how close you're watching. You see the things that are going on in the pre-snaps, the adjustments the offense was making to the defense. And I thought the defense, their mannerisms and things we've been highlighting I thought it was as close to real football as you can get in this environment. So I felt like yesterday's practice was a really nice step forward for us as a team.
Mike, did you see enough from Max yesterday to say something like?
Oh, Max, I hope so. Max, just being out as long as he was had some very impressive snaps. But hopefully he can do a full, bigger workload today. So he's definitely progressing. I mean, we'd all love to see him play Thursday night, and then hopefully we take a big step today with that, towards that.
Mike, you talked to Jalen yesterday and asked him about how he kind of evaluated the secondary. He said he couldn't get a full picture because Joey hasn't been out there. How are you able to evaluate the secondary without a piece like Joey?
Well, I'm probably looking at it differently. Right now, obviously, big picture perspective. It'd be great to have Joey out there, but we're working a lot of different combinations. I will say this: we're different defense with Jalen out there. They definitely, I think everybody felt that, and I would think he felt that. So, having him play, primary, the inside pieces there, I thought he's an impactful player clearly for us.
If you guys keep Coach, if you keep four quarterbacks, would that hinder the development through the season? Trying to get those guys to
hinder the development of
their if you keep four, that progress moving through the season, would that hinder their development?
Oh, I don't.
Get those guys ready.
No, I don't think it hindered it at all. I think it. We talked extensively about the importance of the whole quarterback room, and if you have four quarterbacks in that room, especially the quality that we have currently, I think it only enhances what the regular season would look like. I think maybe you're referring to reps at practice, but yes, I mean, we're not on a time restraint. Once the season starts, thank God, so we can be able to do more before practice, after practice, so our quarterback school, component can kick up some. No, but I think anytime I'd have 6 quarterbacks in the building if it worked. No, I think that would be very healthy for the overall quarterback room with 4 quarterbacks.
Mike, procedurally, I know you acknowledged the business aspect of Joey yesterday.
Isn't that beautiful, that trainer? That's cool. I can't hear you.
Procedurally, I know you acknowledged the business aspect of Joey's situation yesterday, but is he going to remain on PUP for the foreseeable future, or how does that have to work now?
I think, just as I stated yesterday, I thought I clearly answered the questions on Joey. He's in a business situation right now, and that's really the focal point.
Mike, you're from the same era as Kirk Ferentz. Why do you think Iowa produces so many good NFL players?
Well, I think it's a credit to the program he has there. I mean, one thing about young men that come from Iowa, they're pro ready. It's the fundamentals is the first thing that always jumps out at me. And if I look over the years of the Iowa players that I've been able to coach, they're very instinctive, very high on awareness. So I think that's been a constant of the type of players that he's producing through his program. So obviously, I think that the numbers speak for themselves.
Mike, just one more. When it comes to your bets this week, what's most crucial that you want to see from them? The most crucial. From that.
Oh, I think the biggest thing, for the veterans is to continue to make progress. This is a herky-jerky time of training camp. That's why, this week for me, these 2 practices are real important. You can see where the emphasis lies. It's really on them. Aaron, Cam, and getting those guys as much work as we can, because tomorrow's we're traveling tomorrow, so it's more of a, we call it a launch day going into the game, and then we all know once that game is completed, the next 72 hours is focused on the roster. So we won't be back in a practice format till Tuesday. So I think this practice is important for them, but just after this is just to make sure they're doing all the little things which they've done their whole career. Just make sure they're getting ready for next week.
Mike, to be clear with Joey, he was placed on PUP because he had an injury. Is he still dealing with an injury?
Yeah, he's still on PUP. So
you mentioned that launch day. This will be your first road game here. How much does it help to get these guys to feel out your routine, how you do it, even though it's preseason Thursday night and not everybody's going to be out there?
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's really where a number of conversations yesterday, just to make sure that we go to Atlantic Aviation, out there in Moon Township, not West Mifflin. That's important. To make sure you're at the right airport, but just go through all the little details of that. And first time traveling, actually the process here is really clean. I've had a chance to visit the terminal and everything, how we leave, what's expected, once we arrive in the opponent's city and all that. So we had a chance to talk about that some of the team meeting.
Mike, you've had some guys out of the secondary. How do you feel like some guys have stepped in, and do you feel like you've created the type of depth, the type of competition?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a work in progress. I think clearly special teams is a big part of that too. I think when we sit here, I know last night and again this morning, just talking about different combinations of how guys are going to play. It's important, hopefully, come out of this practice healthy, because special teams will be, a lot of answers we need to get out of tomorrow or Thursday night's game.
Two more competing for the third running back spot. What's been some of your observations of how they performed, and what will be some of the things that go into that ultimate decision?
Well, I think that's you obviously want offensive players that excel on special teams, or defensive players that really excel on special teams. I'm not a fan of a guy that's just he's an exceptional special teams player, but he doesn't contribute on offense and defense. That's just my personal preference. I've spoken on it back in the beginning here. Have talked about it numerous times through camp. We want players that can play all four downs. You have your specialists. You have players that have contracts that reflect what we think of them, both offensively and defensively. I'm stating the obvious. But you want four down players, and so the first three downs are on offense or defense. So I think it's common sense and why I feel the way I do. So it's important for these running backs, after the first two is, who's playing the best? Who's playing the best on offense? Who's contributing? Can he be a first, second, and third down player? I think every play caller in the league would prefer to play with running backs that can play on first, second, and third down, because when you have to, you create tremendous tendencies when you start running your backs in and out of the game based off what down and distance is. So we prefer not to play that way. That's a big part of it. And then really the determining factor a lot of times in that third, fourth running back is what kind of player he is on special teams. So that's how I view it. That's kind of that's the priority that I would put in as far as the checklist.
Last one.
Mike, obviously there's a business side to all of this, but personally for you, how tough is a week like this where you can make decisions like that?
I think personally for every head coach, and I can't speak on every, but I know for me, I'm not looking forward to the next 4 days. I've been here with these men since April. I see the time that they put in, and I'm not just talking about the CBA regulated time. I'm talking about the weekends, the early mornings. I'm a big believer, and I've always worked, extensively on weekends, just the design of how we do things here. So you know who's in here. You see the guys putting in the extra time. So it's 68 players. I mean, that's what's going to come out of this 90-man roster, and you want to see everybody get an opportunity. I think it's important for me to accomplish that here in Buffalo, and then we'll see how it sorts out. But yes, it's not a great day when you're telling a guy that he's not part of the 68. But I think the most important thing is you be honest and tell him where he is and what he's done and what he needs to work on, and history holds true, we'll probably work together again, maybe again someday. So that's just the reality of my personal experience. But yes, this is a very stressful, difficult, string of days here for these men.
All right.
Thank you.